Okay, good afternoon, fellow Singaporeans. Although it's a small crowd, I'm very happy that some of you all turn up. Of course, it is the familiar faces that I see. Okay, as you know, the impending GST increase from 7% to 9% will happen sometime in 2021 to 2025. GST is a regressive tax that will hurt the poor and the lower income people. Now, while other countries, they have the exemption of GST on basic necessities, Singapore is still lagging behind in such a system. Okay, what our government did is ridiculous to me. Okay, we have been calling out to abolish the GST, to exempt basic necessity like food staple, milk, powder, but the government is still holding on. And what they did was to exempt investment of precious metal like gold, silver, and also platinum from GST. These three are GST exempt. So it is ridiculous that the government wouldn't care what the people want. Singapore is a special country. We always say that we have no natural resources. Despite it, we have made it this far. But what is our natural resources? It is the people. It is you and me. Because without us, we are the natural resources that make the country work. But where is the investment on us? We have not seen anything like what the other country has been doing for its old people, for its unemployment, for those who are without jobs. The moment we ask to get a sort of this unemployment benefit, they say that giving out unemployment benefit will make the people lazy. But we have seen other countries who have done it, who has this unemployment benefit. Their economy is growing. The people are not getting lazy. So now we are giving the country to the elites, to those people who are disconnected to the ground, to run the country for us. They are earning millions of dollars of salary, and they couldn't understand what the people need. They are disconnected, they are in their ivory towers. How do we handle such situation? We pay our leaders one of the highest in the world, thinking that, you know, they will give us special benefits, or special. We as a Singaporean will get special benefits like how our hospitalization system, as compared to other countries, measure. You see, in Singapore, we do not have a government hospital. Where is this government hospital? No, the SGH has become privatized, and then all the other hospital has become privatized, and this is where the problem is. Because if we don't have a welfare, an adequate welfare for the people, prices keep rising. Because these corporations, these big companies need to make money. Like how our SBS has been privatized. And although it is privatized, it is still funded by our reserve. Now the government has been buying SBS buses to the tune of $1 billion or $2 billion. But why are we funding these private companies? And every year, they will seek increase for the bus fare, for the MRT fees increase. So why privatize? Singaporeans have been grappling with unemployment. With unemployment, competition brought about by cheap foreign labor. We understand that, you know, the country needs foreign labor. Okay, but before that, what our government should do is to address why is our wages stagnating. And they are compounding the problem by bringing in cheap labor. Definitely, in a local context, we cannot, there's no way that we can fight with this foreign cheap labor bringing in. because their standard of living is different from Singapore. While they may benefit from our country, but what do we benefit by bringing in these people except to bring down our wages? And our inflation rate is 4 to 5% on average per year, but our salary do not increase in that manner. I have a friend who is a cleaner. His salary increase was only 3%, $30. And if the inflation rate is 4%, so he's getting poorer. So why do we pay our ministers super high salary and then we expect, you know, they run the country well? We are facing the same problems all developed nations are facing now. So why do we pay our ministers super high salary and then expect different result? Recently, we are hit with a water hike, electricity hike, and there's the news report that the Malaysian EPF, equivalent to our CPF, paid out a 6.9% interest rate to its members. And it has not been below 5% from the day Malaysia reached independence. And you know, Singapore, our CPF rate is only 2.5%. So this difference, you know, if we have $100,000 in our bank account, in our CPF funds, okay, while Singapore paid 2.5% and Malaysia paid 6.9%, that's a difference of how many thousands of dollars over 10 years of time. You know, we are shortchanged, even though Temasek is making billions and billions of dollars. So while they use our CPF to make an investment, so when the times are good, I would expect a good government to pay out as accordingly, but we are suppressed. Everything that the government do is hoarding our money. How much money do we know, or how much money do we have? Even our reserve is kept a secret. And the government's point of view is that if we reveal the figure of our reserve, we are prone to being attacked by currency traders. So this happens if our reserve funds are weak. But as we know that our reserve is very healthy, and then if they are going to be transparent about it, what's wrong with it? The people have the right to know. So when you say that GST, we need to increase GST because to fund future projects, and then be transparent about on our reserve. It doesn't make sense if our reserve is in the over trillions of dollars, but then we have to still increase the GST to collect more money. I think the practice of hoarding money is prevalent, and our minister are not divorced from the ground. They don't care about welfare, and every time when we speak about welfare, they will say that, that there is an after effect, or we do not want the people to be over-reliant on the government, such and such. And even public assistance, when they want to increase the public assistance fee or funds, they debate until the cow come home. But when they want to increase any taxes, it is very easy. So I think before the government of the day easily raise taxes and burden the citizen with a higher cost of living, I mean, they can look into other ways, like introducing capital gain tax. We are one of the country without capital gain tax. We can also plug gaps in the system, which the AGC report is bleeding money. So tighten up our house before we tax the people, because GST, as I mentioned, we do not have a system where basic necessity is being exempted. You know, we were promised Swiss standard of living, but what instead we got? We got the most expensive city to live in. This was Mr. Goh Chok Tong's promise to us. He wants us to have a Swiss standard of living. But look at us. Where are we now? It's not even near Malaysia. And we were promised equality. And instead, now we thrive in elitism. We have a good school. We have neighborhood school. We have this school. All are being used to compare each student's intellectual. This creates a system where the society thrives in elitism. And we were told that our nation is built on meritocracy. But when we look at the research, instead we are ranked 5th in crony capitalism index. Crony capitalism index means those in high position or in high power is the one that is most that can benefit more than the rest of the people in terms of getting contract, in terms of advancing in social mobility. And then we spend billions of taxpayers' money to increase productivity. Millions and millions of dollars have been spent, but the results still show very negligible change. And I believe one of the main culprits is because we bring in cheap labor. This, together with low productivity gain and spending billions of dollars, we can see that it is not making any ground. So there has to be a fundamental change in the system to revise why are we spending billions of dollars, but in fact we got nothing in return. And we pledged to build a democratic society. This sentence is in our pledge. But what we got instead is an autocratic government, time and again. Recently, they want to enact laws on fake news. We have so many laws at the existing point, and then now the government is clamping down on online news, and even with a Hong Lim Park application, we need to have application after application, and then we will need to go through the police permit. So where is our democracy? I mean, we are not those rowdy people who riot everywhere here and there. And then we supposedly plan for a long-term sustainable economic growth. But instead, history has shown that our economic growth model is nothing meaningful except to increase the population digit. As you know, we have shifted from 3 million, and then they have shifted again from 4 million and 5 million, so now 6.9 million. And there has been talk that they're going to increase, we can take in even 10 million. So this growth model, I think, is very lazy. We understand that, we need to bring in to replace our population, but at some point of time, we will reach a plateau. We cannot keep on bringing in more and more, and then we build underground. This doesn't benefit the situation for Singaporeans. How are we going to live? We are the most densely populated nation on earth. So our government has been making motherhood statement like no one will be left behind, but without any real concrete implementation on how are they going to do that. We still see that MCYS are still reporting that each year the number of homeless are getting bigger, are getting more and more. And we were told one point of time that we can withdraw our CPF at the age of 55, and how the goalposts have changed again. And now throughout the years, our minimum sum is going to increase at 161,000. So how many of us really can have 161,000 at 65 years old unless we work for the rest of our whole lifetime? And even now they are drumming in the idea that the old people should work. Is that how we measure success? Is that how we measure we are the most richest nation on earth or in the world? When our old people need to work up to 67 years old. I would want a country where I can retire nicely and our cost of living is low. I don't need, if I can replace all these high skyscrapers with my retirement security, I would gladly trade that. But now what we are seeing is that now the government is keeping to getting our old generation to work and work. And then we pledge to transform our country for the better. Okay, but today, we keep electing the same people. And what change do we expect to see from Singapore? There's nothing, because we expect different result from the same leaders that we elect. So if we want change, we have to be the change we wish to see. Our role cannot be done after election. It has to continue. We have to make leaders accountable. We have to make them be transparent and work for us, not the other way around. Thank you very much.